Hello YouTube Nation, Alex and Ashley here with a impromptu video for you guys. Well, technically all my videos are impromptu, but yeah, today's topic is therapy. Yeah, it's a fun little topic. I'm trying to find a good lighting where my entire half of my face isn't in the dark, but this place does not offer good lighting at night. I'm gonna have to get one of those table lamps. I guess this is as good as it gets, unless I turn around, but I'm lazy and there's a lot of stuff in front of me. There's one thing, but still. Okay, so today's topic is therapy, which I just watched a video by I believe she's a Swedish girl, and she stated her opinion being that she believes everybody should try therapy. And as much as I understand where she's coming from, you can learn a lot about yourself via therapy, but I think the issue with that is the mentality that gives. I've been to therapy. I've seen one therapist throughout my lifetime and one psychiatrist for a session, and that was just for medication. But I personally can say that I got no benefit from therapy. I personally believe that we don't need therapy. It's a good way, being a therapist, a psychiatrist, is a good way of understanding the human aspect. And in this day and age, this society, it's necessary for this society because we are very out of touch with ourselves. And in this day and age, as aware and awoke as the society is, we need somebody to sit and listen to our problems and tell us how everything is connected and what we need to change and where we need to change it. So we need it in this society, but I personally feel as though it's redundant almost. I went to therapy for about 2 years, and it was a long time ago. A few years ago, 4 years ago. And all going to therapy made me realize was how I just needed better friends. At the end of the day, I'm in this room, sitting across from this person, telling them all these things. You basically have to start over from point A. I've been through this, I went through that. When I was this age, this happened, and that, and then my daily life is like this, and my friends are like this, and my parents are like this, and my job is like this, and school is like this, and my family is like this, as opposed to having these friends who are there for you, who support you, who encourage you, who are your friends. And I've been in the predicament in which all my friends have told me that I need to see a therapist, when in actuality I'm just sitting in this room talking to this person about these people who, when it comes down to it, my biggest issue was what I wanted was to talk to somebody, to be understood, to have my feelings validated, to have my experience validated, for somebody to say, God damn, Ashley, you've been through a shit ton of shit. Kudos for you for still being here, for still being who you are, for still being able to smile and look on the bright side. Which is rare as that happens, even sporadic these days, because people are like, oh, you're so strong for going through that, or having that mentality. But I've always been strong. I've always been able to go through it. But my main issue here is that therapy doesn't solve anything. At the end of the day, I'm talking to this person when all I really want is to be validated and to have a hug. And if I can't just talk to my friends about what's going on and to get a hug, then why are we even friends? If you're going to tell me that I need to see a therapist, why are we even friends? Because you should be my therapist. I should be able to tell you what's happening, and you should respond in a empathetic manner. We shouldn't have to pay somebody for empathy, to understand us, to listen to us, to help us understand ourselves. We should just be able to understand ourselves. We should just be in a position society-wise where we can have a person to turn to, and then we should be able to look within ourselves and be like, I feel like this, and the root cause is that, and it affects my daily life through this. Now, as a spiritual person, I can tell you that all this stuff basically comes easy. I can be like, this is how I feel right now, and this is the repeating pattern as to why that's happened, and this is where it stems from. When you go all the way back to like childhood, this is like the initial pattern that started this pattern in the process, and this is how I can fix it. The only thing I ever have an issue with these days is how do you convince yourself that you matter in a world that shows you that you don't matter? And granted, there are like thousands of people, thousands of friends. I'd be like, oh, actually, you matter so much. But when it comes down to it, there's been times where I posted statuses on Facebook saying I really need a friend after hitting up like 5 people, and the only people that like console me or listen to me in any way are people on the internet I've literally never met. Like I have like 2,000 friends. I know about 200 of these people, maybe more. I'd like to believe more. And then the key issue is again, nobody I've ever met ever hits me up like, hey, are you okay? Are you alright? I saw that you were upset. Do you need somebody? And then even if I turn to somebody I know, it's like, oh, this is what's wrong. And then I'll get no response or wait hours for a response. Or they'll just be like, oh, that's so terrible. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's terrible. What do you think it means? What do you think the psychological root behind that is? What do you think the emotional root? What do you think is happening in me that is causing this event to take place? As a spiritual person, I can now do all that. I can now look within myself and pinpoint the issues as far as me and as far as the way I look at things. But I just don't believe we should be living in a community. Now, if you're like a loner, if all you have is your, let's say, pet ferret and a general list of acquaintances that you don't really feel close or comfortable with, wow, that sounds really personal, then yeah, maybe you can benefit from having a therapist because hey, there literally is nobody in your life. So then yeah, you can go out. Then you would need to go out and reach for a therapist, but that's only if like you're surrounded by friends. Note the heavy quotation on the word friends, and many people don't know this, but I use friends, the term friends, quite often because I find that most people in my life are just friends because they operate on a level of friends. I know what it means to be a friend, but I don't necessarily know what it means to have a friend. I don't have many ride or dies, and for full disclosure, my closest friend, the person I know I can turn to in the middle of blasphemy, and he's gonna respond, is a fucking 50-something-year-old man. That's literally my best friend right now because people my age, they're not awake. They're asleep. They're so far asleep. They're in REM state. And I can't even. Females are a completely different manner because the females I want to be friends with don't seem to want to be friends with me. And the females, I've got like 2 female friends two female friends that I'm close to from high school. One of which I feel comfortable with expressing my feelings to. The other with, we just don't have that relationship anymore. And males, on the other hand of the spectrum, are all like, oh, I totally just want to be friends with you, but at the same time, I'm going to bombard you with how attractive I think you are and how much I just want to fuck. And I'm just like, yeah, I get that I'm attractive. I get to see this face every single day. I get to see this body every single day. I don't know if you realize this, but every time I pass my reflection, I wave, say hi, say I love you, blow kisses, because I appreciate myself. So, I don't need you for that. Let's give me something I can't give to myself. I may be looking for the physical aspect of that, but at the same time, I need the mental, I need the spiritual first, because I'm not gonna lay there and absorb your negative energies, your self-hate, your pain, all this bullshit, just for you to feel grand after, and then just, oh, thanks for that. I'm just gonna go over here while you absorb my negativity and all that, and I'm probably never gonna call you again. I don't know that it's like that. I haven't had intercourse in a while. Kinda haven't had meaningful intercourse in a while. That's sad. But anyway, this video is now 10 minutes long. I have expressed my viewpoint on therapy. I believe it is necessary in today's society, but it's eventually gonna dwindle out. And as fun as it is, I do have a psychiatry background from my time in college, but it's not something I use for. Actually, that's not true. I use it on the daily for understanding people and why they work the way they work. But again, it's just a fun thing because the way I grew up, I have a very hard time understanding humans and what makes a human tick and act the way they do. But I'm gonna end this here. It was nice talking to you guys. I appreciate you guys listening. And know that if you ever do need a ear to listen, a shoulder to cry on, or a person to give you a hug, if you are in the general New York City area, we can totally set stuff up because hugging is my specialty and I've got hugs to spare. Until next time, sayonara.